This is tutorial 7-1 in GIS tutorial workbook 2. In this exercise, we're going to be calculating centers. Now, there are three kinds of centers. There's the mean center, where it will take the average of all the x coordinates and an average of all the y coordinates and create a new feature class at that point. Then there's the median center, and what that will do is it will create a pair of coordinates closest to the rest of the features. So it's a weighted average, sort of, where outliers will not skew it as much as the mean will. Then there's the central feature. And what that will do is it will look at all the features, class features that we're interested in, and it will find the one that is the most central, and then it will make a point at that feature class, not a new coordinate, but an already existing coordinate. Now we're going to start by looking at mean centers. But what we're going to be looking at are these calls for service, and these red fire hydrants are active stations, and the orange are proposed. And they want to know if they're correctly located, the new proposed, or even if the existing ones are in good locations. Now, before we begin, the field that we're going to sort the calls by is station. And the book doesn't really tell you to really look at what those will actually look like. So we're going to open up the select by attributes. You just go up to selection, select by attributes, and you're going to want to go down to station and add that to your expression here, then equals, get unique value. Normally you can just put in one, but they have zeros, so you have to put it in as it appears in the attribute table. So station 1, and then you just click apply. As you can see, if you were to just look at the map while doing this, you might think, okay, it's only going to take the mean from the stations within this colored boundary. That's not true. When you do look for the mean center for station 1, these points, all these points are going to be taken into account. Not many people would realize that this one down here would be chosen, or one as far out as here, or one that's pretty much right next to 5. So we're going to go through and we're just going to look at some of the other ones. First, we're going to look at 2 now. 2's not as bad. Most of them are located within or near its station. You have one pretty far outlier. And you're going to have to take this into consideration when doing this. Okay, as you can see, 5's not too bad. They have a few outside, but it looks like the outliers are actually kind of equal on all sides, so that won't affect it as much as, say, 1 where you had one down here. Okay, we'll look at 8 now. 8 is pretty good too. It's only got one real far outlier. And 14's not looking too bad. It's got quite a few outliers right here, but we'll see what the centers will be like once we do them. Now, the reason they have the roads on here is because they just wanted to show you where the fire stations are located. As you can see, 5 is located near a pretty big highway. So is 14, 1, 2's not that far. 8's kind of out there. I mean, it's on a road, but not a major road. But this is cluttering the map somewhat, so we're going to try to declutter it a little bit. I'm going to turn the call for service ones down to 2. Because we're going to be adding points to this map, and if you have I think it was like it's over 1,000 points on the map. It's going to be difficult finding the one that you just created. Okay. Now that we have that done, we're going to actually create our main center now. And to do that, you just want to go to your search window, which if it's not open already, just go to Windows, Search. And you just type in mean. And just click on it. Sometimes it's been giving me trouble, so I just keep clicking on it. And if it's not working there, you can always go to the toolbox. The search feature is nice, but it is always good to know exactly where your tools are. And it's in the spatial statistics toolbox, and it's right here. So I'm just going to use that for now. And what we're going to choose is our calls for service. We have to come up with a name for it. I'm just going to call it mean. And our class field is, because we're wondering where the station should be located based on calls, is station. Click OK. And the tool will run. And I'm going to change the color of that to something more, a little bit larger and more colorful. Now, as you can see, in Station 5, it is not to the south that this is showing, but more to the northeast. And 14, a little down to the southeast. 1, they're showing more to the east. 2 is pretty close to each other, so that's a good location. And 8, it is pretty close to the new proposed. But that's the mean, so the outliers could really be throwing that off. And those might be cases of an extreme event. Maybe multiple stations were called, and they were just the first responders. I'm not sure how they got labeled, but it might have been multiple houses going there, but only one is shown in the table. So we'll do median sensors now to see what that tells us. And this should give us a more weighed look at what we're seeing. And we're using station as our class field again. I'm going to use a star again, but I'm going to make this one yellow. Okay. Now for 1, it's more to the southeast now. And 2 is pretty much right on top of the green, so 2 is perfectly located, I think. And for 14, both the mean and median are very close to each other. So they might want to think about relocating Station 14 to that area. It would stay on this major road. It wouldn't be near this intersection, but still. And 8 is also nicely clustered, and it's right where the proposed station is. So that would be probably a good idea of putting Station 8 there. Now 5, the median is even higher up. So they might want to reconsider where they're putting 5. Now, they probably want it by this main road, but they could probably put it right here to where it would be still close to the main road. Now what we're going to do is find the central feature. Now this wouldn't be where to place a new firehouse, but it would be a good way of finding out which firehouse should be used for district meetings. Because you wouldn't want to have everyone go out to one that's really far out. You'd want to go to the most centralized one. So what they're going to have us do first is identify all the firehouses. As you can see, we have some outside our district. So what we're going to do is our select by attribute. And we're going to change it to active stations. And you're going to double click on station equals 1 or station. And you're just going to keep doing this until you have all of them. And they're selected. Now you don't have to do anything now once they're selected. Those are the ones that the tool will focus on. And you want to come over and double click on central feature, or you can use the search window. And you want to use active stations this time. And you want to call this one central. And here is where we have to change the distance. Now, Euclidean distance is, as the crow flies, as they say, it's aerial view. It's a straight line. It doesn't take turns or anything into consideration. The Manhattan one does. So we're going to be using that one. We're just going to click OK. We're going to turn off our features, or our selection, and we're done with our toolbox for now, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And I'm going to open up this, and I'm going to give it a nice big red star. I'm going to even make it a little bit bigger. I can see it, but I'm not sure if everyone can. Make it 40. As you can see, it's Station 2. So that's the most central fire department. And that's it for this tutorial.